on. All right. Hey, you never thought you'd get a sing-along this early in the morning, huh? But we are in Orlando. So you get a sing-along in Orlando, and I am so happy to be here with 1,500, look around, 1,500 badass, life-saving warriors in the audience. All right, so raise of hands, how many here, are here for the first time? All right, I'm gonna ask you to stand up. Stand up. All right. Yeah. That is badass. Thank you. It's so cool to see that, and thank you for all of your life-saving efforts. It's truly a demonstration of how much you care about the animals. Well, as Faith said in the video, and as you saw in the video, this is our 40th anniversary at Best Friends Animal Society, but it's also the 40th year of the no-kill movement. And that video of Faith was so inspiring because she knew at that point that she had terminal cancer, that she had ovarian cancer, and that she probably wasn't going to be around for very long. And to still be thinking about the future, and to be thinking about animals, and to be thinking about others is really remarkable. What a person. She was a friend and mentor to me for 26 years, but even more remarkable was that she was a friend and mentor to thousands upon thousands of people, not just in this country, but all over the world. When Faith passed away, letters poured in from all over the world. And the common theme in those letters about Faith, the common theme was she helped others climb the mountain. Faith knew how to reach her hand out and help people get through tough times. Faith was always there for everybody. I don't know how she kept up with all the emails and phone calls, but somehow she did it. So, from this point forward, at this conference, we are going to dedicate a seat to Faith Maloney, which is right here. And so, welcome, Faith. I know you're here with us in spirit. I'm going to toast to her. If you have a coffee, I hope it's a coffee. We're doing a toast to Faith Maloney, co-founder of Best Friends Animal Society. And you were a great singer, too. So one of the things that Faith said in the interview is that she said, other people will take this on after us. When all of us are gone, there will be people fighting for the animals. And she's talking about us. That's me, and that's you, and that's all of us. We are all actively creating a better world for animals. You know, Faith was one of the founders of Best Friends, but we are all founders of what comes next. That is us. It is our responsibility to carve out that new future. And that new future is a place where no dog or cat loses its life simply because it doesn't have a home. Faith and her co-founders and her colleagues were fearless. They were fearless because they believed in something bigger than themselves. They dared to dream. They dared to dream against all odds and against all the naysayers out there. And I think this famous ad from Apple sums it all up from the 1990s.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
I love that ad so much, especially the notion of only the crazy ones really change the world. And really, that's partly about being a little bit rebellious, which our founders were. And they rejected every rationale for killing shelter pets. They knew what was right, and no kill was right. No kill was right. But getting there has not been easy. We've had to fight a lot of inertia. We've had to fight a lot of the system. And we've had to win over many hearts and minds to get there. And that's the purpose of this conference. This conference is about inspiration. It's about new ideas. It's about learning from each other. It's about networking. And it's about accessing all the resources that you need. And as Faith said in the opener, the work continues. The work will continue. And it's important work. It's about the fundamental value of life, and it's about our own integrity as human beings. That's what our work is about. How rewarding is that to think about a life well spent, doing for others, doing on behalf of the animals. And with that, I'm really excited to share with you just how far we've come in the last 40 years, which there are moments where when I get down in the dumps, all I need to do is look at this. So let's talk about where we are, where we were, and where we are today. In 1984, there were no municipal no-kill shelters in America, not a one. In 1994, 10 years later, there was one community that was no-kill, and that was San Francisco, led by Rich Avanzino. Today, 62% of all shelters in this country are no-kill. 30 years later. That is crazy progress. And back in 1984, 17,000 animals were being killed in this country. I'm sorry, 17 million. 17 million were being killed. And in 2023, that number was 415,000. That's still too many, but that is tremendous progress. You know, 17 million people are going to get a pet this year. And if just 6% of those people that are going to get a pet decide to adopt rather than buy, we would solve this. We would close that gap of 415,000. That is a crazy statistic to think about. That is a big market for adopting animals. And you know what? Not only are 62% of shelters in this country no-kill, there are now 4 no-kill states. And if you're from one of these states that I name, I want you to stand up. So Rhode Island just recently joined. Delaware, New Hampshire, Vermont, keep standing, keep standing. And in addition, Connecticut, DC, Idaho, Iowa, Maine, Minnesota, Montana, North Dakota, Oregon, and Wyoming have a life-saving gap of less than 900 animals. Wow, we are so close. There are nearly 4,000 shelters in this country. There are about 1,701 that are not yet no-kill, and of that 1,701, 529 have a gap of less than 100 animals to get to no-kill, to get to 90%. And right here in Florida, a 30-year-old pit bull ban in Miami-Dade County and Sunrise was overturned. Yeah, I never thought I'd see that day. And just look at how many organizations reached or maintained 90%. That's a remarkable stat, too. 88% of all organizations that reached 90% maintained at 90%. And Best Friends sent out a plaque to commemorate, the achievement and celebrate the achievement. I think many of you got one. If you got one, raise your hand. If you got one, stand up. And so yes. And we didn't expect this, but all of you started posting on social media the 90% award. And it went wild. The comments and the joy from your supporters and your members and your public was incredible. And this future that we're carving out is all because of you. This work and these achievements are yours. And because of that, I want to take a moment and highlight some of the founders of our future. Some of the real standouts. And look, there are so many people that we could feature, but I picked a few because I want to introduce them to you. Because if you're here for the first time and you're seeing this, I can't tell you the number of people I've encountered who said, hey, I was at this conference 10 years ago, and I saw so-and-so on the stage, and I aspired to be them. So hopefully one of these folks will inspire you. So, Stephen Martinez from York County SPCA. Stephen got York County to no-kill, and his entire focus is centered around maintaining their newly achieved no-kill status. Way to go, Stephen. Tisha Jones, Jackie Folsom, and Hal Warner from Lehigh Valley Humane Society. Yeah, it took, and if you're in the audience, please stand. Stephen, Lehigh, it took almost 2 years of tireless hard work, but they are now consistently hitting 90% every single month. Way to go. Scott Trebatowski from Hillsborough County, Florida. Scott is constantly innovating to keep life-saving at the forefront of the county's priorities. He is a role model for others. He is never afraid to try something new. Heather Owen from One Tail at a Time. Heather has done unbelievable work for years in Chicago, but recently she's expanded her help to West Texas, and she's opened up a West Texas One Tail at a Time that's helping shelters in rural West Texas. So, Heather, if you're here, please stand. You are incredible. Ed Jameson from Operation Kindness and Meredith Jones. They are growing their resources with the goal of helping other organizations and shelters in Dallas. And what a tribute, what a beautiful example for a legacy humane society to do that, with a commitment to help others reach 90%. How about the officers of Camden County Animal Control in Georgia? All right. They decided they wanted to stop killing community cats. So the animal control officers took it upon themselves to start their own TNR program. That sounds simple, but they had to change the entire way they operated to do this. We are all really super impressed by you. Way to go. Way to go, sir. So this is just a snapshot of the life-saving work that's happening every single day around this country. It's so inspiring, and the work is not easy. There are a lot of sleepless nights. There are a lot of tough decisions. Some people think that we spend our days hugging bunnies, or petting dogs, or cuddling cats. I mean, wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, exactly. But what you are doing is not for the faint of heart. It's for those who won't take no for an answer. And it's for those who want to find a pathway to yes. And look, here's the deal. This is what this is all about for us. It's about the animals, really. You're all here because I imagine some animal inspired you. to carve out this as your living. You know, the generic name that we use as shorthand to refer to a dog is Fido. I've met thousands of dogs in my life, but I have never met a Fido. Have you? I've met Buddy, Lady, Max, Pizza, every star in the solar system, but I have never met a Fido. But here's the thing about Fido. If I were to say that name to you, you would know exactly what I was talking about, right? Fido is the name of a dog, and if you translate it into its purest form, in Latin, it means, I am faithful. That is the literal translation from Latin, is that I am faithful. So let me tell you what it means to be faithful. So this picture was taken at the funeral of a Navy SEAL by his sister. And this guy's name was John Tomlinson. And he was killed in a helicopter crash. And lying next to his casket is his dog Hawkeye, who just lay down by his side in mourning. And he wasn't looking for treats or belly rubs or anything like that. He just wanted to be by his friend. And I asked myself, you know, is there any doubt that this dog knew, in his dog kind of way, that his friend lay dead in this casket? I am faithful. It's not just the meaning of a name, it's the character of an animal. Faithfulness is the companion to trust. If you trust someone, you are counting on them. You are counting on them to be faithful to their word and to you. And faithfulness is a given when it comes to our animal friends. Their faithfulness challenges us every single day without judgment or resentment. They simply are what they are. Their example challenges us to be faithful to them and to our mission. In order to keep the faith with the animals, we have to keep the faith with each other. We need to be able to trust each other, and we need to have each other's back. We need to have each other's back. Our mission and the animals demand that of us. Look, here's the reality. If we can't keep our collective commitments to the animals that love us and trust us, how do we expect to handle the more challenging relationships that life throws at us? You know, no kill isn't just about the animals. It's about who we are as human beings. It is way bigger than us. You know, the other day, a good friend of mine brought up the analogy of the Lord of the Rings story, namely the story of the hobbits. He was using it as a great analogy for what we have all undertaken in animal welfare. And you know, the hobbits, how many know that story? Everybody? Oh, not as many as I expected. Good, I can make some stuff up and, you know, you never know. The hobbits were just regular folks hanging out in the Shire, and they would have been very happy to just stay there undisturbed. And they weren't obvious heroes. They weren't sort of showing up with their Superman capes on. But they all had one essential qualification. And that qualification was their willingness. Their willingness to do whatever it took, to step forward and answer the call. They stepped up to do what they believed in and to do the impossible. And they set out on a great adventure to take down a monumental evil. And I see that quality in everyone here today. The willingness to do whatever it takes, whatever is needed. And in this story, you know, humans, elves, wizards, dwarves, hobbits, talking trees, they were all on the same page and they all worked together. And their task was to cast the ring, this ring of power, into Mount Doom to break the evil spell that was destroying everything in its path. And Frodo was the ring bearer, this little hobbit guy. And the closer he got to the mountaintop, the weaker he became. The ring was draining his strength. But he struggled on step by step until he could not walk any further. And he collapsed on the side of the mountain. He was battered, he was wounded, he was dying. Everything seemed lost. Everything they'd sacrificed, all the lives lost, it would have all been in vain. And then, out of nowhere, his hobbit friend Sam picked him up and carried him up the mountain the rest of the way. That's the story of our movement. It's been an uphill climb. And we've faced a lot of headwinds. We've faced a lot of challenges. We've faced a lot of entrenched powers. But we've carried on. And here we are climbing that final mountain. But we cannot do it alone. Sometimes we need to be carried, and sometimes we need to be the one carrying. But together we will get there. A collection of hobbits, elves, wizards, humans, talking trees. All of us. We're limping. We're falling down, but we are carrying each other. We are carrying each other. We are at a historic moment in time, all of us in this room. When you look at those numbers, just 40 years ago, 17 million animals. We are changing a fundamental societal ill that we have been relating to for the last 150 years. And you are doing that in this room. That is all you. And what we do, we know how to do this. We know how to solve this. We have the skills and the commitment and the people to make it happen. And the decisions that we make today will determine what the future of the animal welfare looks like. Think about that. The decisions that we make today will determine our future, what its values will be, how we value each other, how we respect and include the people of the communities in which we work, how we value the lives of the animals we serve, and how we live up to all that it means to be a no-kill community and to do right by the animals and to be a shining example. We are now founders, all of us in this room, you and me. We are founders of our new future. And this is a future where no job description should have in it that you take an animal's life. This is a future where every animal finds a safe place to call home. This is a future, my preferred future, is one of life-saving. My preferred future is one where I actually do get to hug bunnies and pet dogs and cuddle cats. This is the future that I want to see. And together, we can be founders of that future. We are the founders of that future. Listen, everyone, have a great conference. I am so grateful that you are here. Thank you for joining us today. Please have a great time. We'll see you around.